Let's take a look at some information and charts on basic attention token for BraveNewCoin. So BAT is an ERC20 token currently on ETH. Apparently there are some plans to switch to Solana. I don't know if that's a rumor. I didn't see much about that. But BAT is used as an ad rewards token in the Brave browser, not to be confused with BraveNewCoin. The Brave browser is a Chrome Firefox fork. I always confuse that. It's one or the other, but a lot of people use Brave. A lot of people love Brave. Some people don't like Brave because it doesn't load the websites. And it's not really Brave's fault that it doesn't load certain websites properly. It's more related to tracking and privacy issues and blocking that Brave handles for you. So you can either earn VAT rewards through Brave as a user by viewing ads that you can opt into, or you can send BAT to content creators. I receive BAT from YouTube channels or Twitter or Reddit or wherever for their content as well. The browser itself is immensely popular. A lot of people use it. A lot of people love it. Like I already said, not that this is an ad for Brave, but it is kind of better, faster, stronger for some people who use it than Chrome, than Firefox. For a lot of people, it's a better browser experience. And they've integrated privacy. I think this is with DuckDuckGo. Private searches. They've implemented all sorts of crypto stuff, NFTs, swaps through Binance, Gemini, tons of privacy stuff, and the browser itself is just headed in the right direction in that regard. Here's the creator contribution section where you can just auto pay someone based on your time watching their stuff, viewing their stuff, reading their stuff, whatever it is. It's a great concept. What it breaks down for me is when, as a content creator, I receive the BAT, I have to then move it off of wherever I receive it from or sell it. And there's associated fees with that are often greater than the actual BAT I receive. So the microtransaction stuff just doesn't make sense when the ETH transaction fees are as high as they are. Originally, they had said that they were using ETH and raising money on ETH because of high BTC transaction fees. And at the end of the day, it hasn't really mattered because ETH fees are now higher than BTC fees. If you look at the growth for the browser, just continues to skyrocket. Currently at 36 million monthly active users. This doesn't compare to Chrome. I don't have the exact numbers for that, but Chrome, I think, was in the billions or billion users per month. I forget. But they're getting there. They're slowly getting there. So lots of people using the browser. Batgrowth.com isn't loading for me. I don't know why. It didn't load for me last month either, but the combined creators that are signed up, most on YouTube. This was a big deal when the adpocalypse happened with YouTube as well. It's just a revenue stream that isn't YouTube ads. A lot of the bigger YouTubers have just switched to streaming on Twitch or other platforms completely. And then you have people switching from Twitch to like Facebook Live or something. So there's a lot of switching between loyalty based on where the user or where the creator can get the most ad revenue. So I think BAT is a good stopgap for a lot of people who do get those high rewards. You know, I get like less than $100 a month, let's say. For me, it's not a big deal, right? I can't transact in it because of ETH fees anyway. So it just kind of sits there and does its thing. What I usually do is sell it to BTC and just hold it for now. But for someone who receives a substantial amount of revenue or additional revenue in BAT, it is a lifeline for them, certainly. I don't know too many of those people. I haven't talked to them personally, but some of the bigger YouTubers may receive a substantial BAT reward. I don't really know. They also have a buyback program, which I don't fully understand, but it looks like this is how they send the BAT rewards out to people by buying coins through Coinbase based on the website here. Like I said, they did do an ICO, Brave did, in, what was it, 2017 now for 35 million. They raised a total of 42 million in 5 rounds and a bunch of undisclosed stuff. I know a few years ago they were talking about raising another round, but I haven't heard much about that lately. Maybe this 2019 was the round I missed, but I think they've got plenty of money, plenty of momentum, plenty of crypto-centric stuff, like the swaps, the NFTs. I don't think they're going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's just the token for me kind of doesn't make sense as far as the microtransaction stuff. if we look at the transaction counts here, they've fallen off significantly over the past few months. I don't think there's many people moving this stuff around other than Brave themselves, because again, a lot of people get a few dollars a month as a creator, and it just doesn't make sense to move it with ETH fees what they are. If this could go layer 2, that would be huge. Then you can actually handle microtransactions on Arbitrum or on Optimism or some other chain like Solana, whatever. It just needs to get off ETH layer 1 in order to make this thing usable. Certainly not bullish on transaction counts dropping off like that, basically to multi-year lows. Average transaction value is not really telling you much here, but they are up as transactions fall. So as transactions fall, you typically see fewer microtransactions, which you are going to see anyway because there are such high ETH fees. So it makes sense that average transaction values are rising here. NVT rising slightly. There's definitely been this downward trend in NVT over the past few years. It had been sitting at essentially all-time lows and is rising slightly. Not super bearish, but definitely not super bullish. What's more problematic for me is to see active addresses also falling off significantly. The ETH fee stuff, I think, is just dominating this. Active addresses now less than 1,000 a day. So not too many people transacting in BAT. I know the BAT I received through Uphold is on their like private corporate chain. It doesn't even really touch ETH. So they must, BAT must transfer a significant amount of, Brave must transfer a significant amount of BAT in one go and then divvy it out on the side chain or private chain or corporate chain that Uphold uses. The same thing with Gemini. They probably have one big transfer to Gemini and then transfer it out in the ledger on Gemini side of things. So is this the original intended vision of BAT? No, but it still gets the job done. It's still not as maybe decentralized as they had hoped it to be initially. But active addresses falling off like this, certainly not bullish. Now this will change quickly and could change quickly in Q4. If you start to see this stuff pick up in a month from now when I do a video, if this is rising significantly, that's a very good sign for bullishness in price. But right now it's just not there. There's no momentum with the on-chain stuff at all. If we take a look at MVRV in the fill here in the green versus price in the line, MVRV is a measure of market cap versus on-chain activity. Generally how this works for most coins is they top out around a 2x multiple. It looks like BAT tops out at around 1.6 multiple to 1.8. And the way this is lined up for BAT is it's almost been the exact top every time MVRV has spiked up here. So what the MVRV is really telling you, at least what I think it's telling you, is the speculation relative to actual use. When MVRV is high, there's a ton of speculation because market cap is increasing rapidly relative to on-chain activity. And that can only go so far to hold price up. You really need on-chain activity to move price and hold price at a certain level. So currently MVRV is around 1. So it has a ways to go to the upside. As far as downside, let's say I'm wrong about Q4 and everything's bearish. I wouldn't want to buy this until it's sub 0.5. That looks like a good bottom level. But if throughout the quarter, BAT hits new all-time highs, this is an extremely useful and valid metric on almost every coin that isn't DeFi stuff to check. Just glance at every day, just load it up, go to Coin Metrics, this is free, load it up, see where you are in MVRV. If MVRV is above 1.5, above 1.6, above 1.8, if it makes a new all-time high, you better believe that's probably the top for BAT sooner rather than later. So I really like this fundamental metric for highs and lows in price. Grayscale also has a very small trust. I think it's their smallest trust now. Yeah, their smallest trust now is BAT here. I don't really think this does much for the token, but it's there and people can access it who are in legacy world who don't or can't access BAT through any other means. It's there if they want to touch it. And looking at Brave, the browser, Google Trends over the past 5 years worldwide, as popular as ever. It looks just like the monthly growth chart. No surprise. So the browser's popular as ever, and ideally for a lot of people that spills over into token use and token price. I just don't know if that's going to move the needle when ETH fees are as high as they are. You really need fundamental use of the chain or of the token to translate into something bullish over time. You will see frequent, I'm not going to call them pump and dumps, but they're pump and dumps of coins like this because people get super bullish on something that's under $1, especially tons of speculation comes in, and then there's just no use case, and then it just collapses, right? So that's what I'd watch for in Q4 with MVRV, and you can also watch for that in technicals. This is the 365 MA in the green, 5 times that in the red. The midline is 2.5x here. In early 2021, this did actually reach for the 5x multiple. It did also hit the buy zone most recently over the past couple months in May and September. Currently, that 5x multiple is probably somewhere around $3, it looks like, which is certainly a significant upside from current price. That'll continue to increase slowly if price increases over the next few months. But historically, there isn't a lot of touches of this multiple. Most of the time, it's just at the 365 MA. This thing's been in a massive range for years previously, before January. So it's hard to be super bullish in my prognostication of expectations here. On the 5200 EMA, yearly pivots, VPVR volume, and RSI, this thing is just sideways all over the place. There are better trades out there. You know, if you look at a chart and you instantly see this sideways nonsense and a history of sideways nonsense versus something that has momentum, you're wasting your time, in my opinion, right? If you're trading this, because there's just better opportunities elsewhere. You can buy and hold this throughout the quarter with the understanding and assumption that you're probably going to lose money against BTC, against ETH, up until a certain point. Typically, alts like this get rotated into late in the quarter if they move. In 2017, it had a little pop-up late in the quarter relative to BTC and ETH. This actually moved along with DeFi in January, February. So paying attention to the DeFi cycle along with the macro BTC and ETH cycle is probably more important than just technicals on this chart, because it just moves with those cycles. There's nothing else here that really tells you anything other than a bunch of support below 40 cents based on volume, and you don't want to be making lower lows if you're bullish here. Cloud is currently sitting mostly bear with price below cloud, but this could easily flip above 80 cents, and on trend it would tell you it was time to re-enter that trade or go long again. This looks almost identical to several DeFi charts, Uni, Sushi, Aave, where those charts have this exact same cloud positioning based on trend. So this could certainly have a run above 80 cents, maybe in November. You know, it depends how this lines up, but I would watch that DeFi cycle closely. Against BTC, it's far below the volume resistance here at 2400 sats. Anything above, let's say 2500 sats, and it's probably go time for this crazy spike like you'll see every once in a while on alts. But otherwise, the expectations based on trend here are just lower lows, and there's not even a bull div yet. On price, the next support down based on yearly pivots is at negative 400 sats. So obviously, probably find support somewhere above that, probably above 0 sats, I'd imagine. And against ETH, this almost looks bad enough to buy, because you have a multi-month bull div, just continuous, lower lows in price, on no volume whatsoever, and arguably higher lows in RSI. So honestly, I don't hate this, because buying this against ETH, because when this does move, it's going to move extremely quickly, and you're probably going to miss it. You almost have to rotate into this early if you want to catch a move like this. Let's say it's going to go to 71 whatever's guai. I don't know what the term is for this against ETH, but this is the level that it wants to go to if it does begin to retrace. And this could easily complete the Adam and Eve that's started here. Adam and Eve is just a V and a U double bottom. Even if this makes new all-time lows, it's kind of whatever, because the divs are probably still going to hold. So against ETH, it looks bad enough to buy, because where else does this go, right? So it goes to all-time lows. Eventually, it's probably going to retrace. And when it does, it's probably going to retrace hard. Not investment advice, but against ETH, it looks decent in that it's just been soul-crushing for months. And the upside there is what, like a 3x at least? 3.5x, something like that. I don't know. But it's quite large for the upside. And if this Adam and Eve completes and you get continuation off that, which is probably unlikely, but if you do, that's just icing on the cake. Lastly, I'll just mention the ETH-BTC fund and DeFi portfolio. I trade for Technic Capital on Enzyme.finance, a non-custodial portfolio management tool where you can send ETH or USDC or just watch what I'm doing. You can see everything, including AUM performance, allocation, all the vaults I'm in here on Yearn, Comp, and Aave, as well as the trades in the trades tab down below. That's all I have for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.